All right, what's going on, everybody? Here's the Signal King bringing the best trade from the week, showing you guys my full strategy for free, how I caught the trade. You guys literally see how we find the direction, the entry, everything, like no holding back. So let's get right into it. All right, so here you guys can see this awesome 1 to 4 trade, and now I'm gonna delete everything so you guys can see how we caught this trade from scratch. So I literally delete all of this, and then I'm gonna replay here because this is what I was presented with when I came to sit down. So we'll just go to replay mode. Let me take this back. Right here. I sit down every day at 8:30 and I do my market analysis, and I trade from 8:30 to 11 a.m. So when I come to sit down, this is the first thing I'm presented with, right? Now, the first thing I do when I come to sit down is I go to the M5 time frame and I mark my highs and lows, right? So the key to this, guys, is if we're trading Wednesday, the high and low of day is going to be coming from one previous trading day, which that means that one previous trading day is Tuesday. So we go to Tuesday, and the highest and lowest points in Tuesday is going to be these areas right here. All right, so we go to Tuesday, and these are going to be the highest and lowest points. So this is right here, high of day, and then this is going to be the low of day down here. And then the key for this, guys, is that it has to be the highest and lowest points between Frankfurt and New York session. It cannot be out of session, right? It cannot be out of a color. So it has to be inside a session and the highest and lowest points. And Asian session does not count. So here we have the high and low of day, and then now we need to mark our previous high and previous low of day, which is going to be 2 previous trading days than the one we're trading from. So if we're trading on Wednesday, that previous high and previous low of day is going to be coming from Monday, right? So we go to Monday, and then now we mark the highest and lowest points between Frankfurt and New York session, and then we have our previous low of day right here, previous low of day, and then we have our previous high of day up here. And then now I do a top-down analysis after I do this, right, to identify where we are in the market. Okay, just because I'm a scalper does not mean that we don't go on the higher time frames. For us to scalp in the market, we need to identify what's going on the higher time frames, right? So now we just do a top-down analysis. So now we go to we'll start on the daily. So we take this off, and then now check this out. So we do a top-down analysis, and I'll show you guys what we're working with. All right, so check this out, guys. We have this area right here, this area of demand on the daily that created this huge push to the upside, right? Leaving this volume right here. And then if we go to the daily, we just mark this like this daily demand right here. We put that as daily. So on the higher time frames, we could identify that price is bullish, right? Price is just pulling back into areas of demand and continuing to push to the upside. So this is just a pullback here. And then notice, I'll give you guys some sauce right here. So notice these areas of supply to the left, right? So notice this area right here. This area of supply on the daily, price pulled back into. So notice this daily supply right here. That's where price tapped, and that's where this bearish volume came in from. And then notice that price just pulled back into an area of demand to continue to move to the upside. Okay, so now the next major target as far as supplies is this area up here on the daily, like that. Notice how we didn't quite touch this here. We're pulling back into that area. And then once we break past this area, there's nothing stopping price until this next area up here. So we're just pulling back into an area of demand, right? So now we go to H4, and check this out. On H4, it's pretty much the same thing. Notice how on H4, we have this daily and H4 zone in confluence right here. So we mark this like this, H4. And then check this out. Now we go to H1. And then on H1, we could identify this right here. So on H1, notice how price didn't quite touch this zone exactly by a few pips, like literally a few pips, but notice how what happened when price approached this area. Notice how when price came in close into this area, notice how the market kind of switched directions right here. Notice how pretty much price broke this low right here, gave us a push, and then respected this previous contract candle, creating new areas of demand. Notice we have this nice void to fill right here. We have this H1 supply right here, right, guys? H1 supply right here. And then we go to M15. All right, guys, so we marked that, and then notice how I'm telling you guys that price is creating new areas of demand right here, right? So notice if we go to M15, I'm going to tell you guys what I had as the first main target for price. All right, guys, so now we're on M15. I'm going to show you what I had as main target for price. So I told everyone in the Signal group that this was the main target right here, this M15 supply that created this push right here. Notice how this M15 supply created this push to the downside. And then this area right here was right into this area of demand that created the push. So now price is pushing upwards, with this being the first target right here. Not the first target, the main target. The first targets are going to be the highs and lows. And then let's break this down a little bit more. So now on M15, we could identify that price created this area of demand right here in confluence with the previous low of day, right? So we mark this like this. And then notice how price pretty much respected this area. I'm actually going to take this out. I just marked this so you guys can see the zone. but in reality, I always use lines. So I mark it like that, M15. And then notice this, M15, yeah, perfect, this area right here. So then we let our session roll, we go like this. And then what do we have here, guys? On M15, we go back. Notice what pre-New York did. Pre-New York created an area of demand right here on M15, this area right here. After touching that M15 demand in London, we created this new area of demand in pre-New York. And then we have M15 there. We have M5 in confluence with M15 right here. In confluence also with the previous low of day, and M1 as well down here. Now this is a little bit a bigger gap than I would like to usually see in the market, but this is still in confluence. This is about 6 pips difference, right? Right here. Yeah, exactly. 6.6 pips. Usually I like to see my zones in confluence about like 3-4 pips, but this is still valid, right? Using a 10 pip stop loss. So I sent a buy limit like this at 740, looking like this with a 10 pip stop loss, covering that range right there. And this was our target right here. Let me move this up a little bit right here. So the final take profit was right around the previous high and high of day. But the main target that I told everyone that the price was heading to was this area of M15 supply that created the push to the downside. So check this out. All right, so let's go over the key things that we have right now that's telling us to buy, right? So notice how price created that area of demand in Frankfurt, and it's in confluence with the previous low of day. And then once pre-New York touched this area, we created a new area of demand with M5, M15, M1, and the previous low of day in confluence. It's our previous session setting us up, so very likely New York is going to pull back into this area and continue to move to the upside. So I sent the buy limit here, and let's see what happened. Notice how price tapped this area right here, and that is where the volume is coming in from. Let me pause this because I just moved this right here. Let me move this back right here, like that. Let me put it on H1 and then check this out. Notice how the volume is coming off of this area here. Check this out. Price pulled back into this area exactly, and look at the volume that came out of this area of demand. Notice how price in Asia tapped that M5 demand to the exact pip, like to the exact pip. Look at this. Asia tapped this area right here. So if we go to M5, you can see that Asia right here tapped that M5 to the exact pip. And that's where the whole volume came from for the whole movement came from this M5 demand. So in New York, we caught the entry here, and then price gave us a 1 to 2, and then price pulled back into the entry point, touching this M5 demand, and that is where the volume came in from for the whole move. All right, so you guys can see how the whole move pretty much came from this area here. You guys are seeing how we identified the targets on the higher time frame, how we got our entry on the lower time frame, and notice how price broke past this area, and it kind of respected this M15 supply, and then look at the volume coming off of this. So now noticing, we just delete all this, and I'll tell you what we could expect. All right, so we caught that 1 to 4 perfect, right? But now that I deleted everything, very likely we're still gonna see price now pull back into this area here. So next week, very likely we're gonna see price pull back into this H4 demand right here in confluence with this daily demand right here. All right, so notice how price did not quite fill this void right here. So price very likely in the next few days, we're gonna see price pull back into this area here. So you guys pretty much saw how we identified the market direction, how we got the entries on the lower time frames. I literally don't hold anything back from you guys. I give you guys my complete strategy for free. All right, so you guys are seeing week after week how I break these trades down for you guys and how nothing changes in my strategy. I do the same exact steps every single time and nothing changes. So if you guys literally want a strategy that's proven to be profitable, all you have to do is watch these videos, and all the information that you need is in these videos. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys were able to get some knowledge from this, some value. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.